I wanted to take this opportunity to explore a little bit more about how technology actually intersects with our lives and what part it plays in the world. Yes, our students are going to have the opportunity to use this in the classroom, but I think it's also important to understand its place in society, maybe how things have changed, or a few of the developments that have very particularly affected how we view ourselves. For me, the best way to do this is through some sort of visual representation, and of course, I always default to art. I'm going to start back a few hundred years, so let's begin. Where did we start? How did we understand ourselves? And how did we represent information? How did we interact with it? I picked this text. It's from the Lindisfarne Gospels. It's absolutely beautiful, and you can see the illumination on the manuscript. This is, in fact, one of the Gospels. It's supposed to be some of the most important information that could have been transmitted in about 800 AD when this was created. But is it really accessible? Books were the new technology of that time, and that's how we stored and retrieved information and passed it along. But this isn't really usable. A few hundred years later, though, things start to change, and we again start to see some of the beauty and human potential. There are a lot of different things that you can read in this sculpture, but I always like to focus on the hands, not so unusual. But when you look at them, they're giant, really. And I've always thought, among the representations that's maybe given a little bit less credit, or the imagery that's given a little bit less credit, you have to think about the potential of man to do something with that. So from this point, things obviously change, and I'm going to fast forward a few hundred years, or else this could be a little bit too long. I want to start looking at how our world is shrinking, and I'm going to start at the point where that began. So this is where we have been, and this is where we're going. You can see things that are a little bit different from before, maybe a little bit more abstract, or perhaps all-inclusive. Our world is shrinking quite a bit. In this case, I guess it's all blue. But again, we still have this blank potential. What can we do with it? You know, these rhyming canvases are, in fact, painted. It is white paint. And the implication of that being everything and nothing comes from it. So again, like with the hands of David, let's start here. We're looking at an image of creation and what can come out of this. How can you represent a creative process? Of course, we could do it like Jackson Pollock. It's frenetic. It's energetic. This is calm. You don't know what's receding and what's coming out. With this as our beginning, because we don't know what progress is and its true effects in the future, but we do know we're moving forward. So let's keep moving along. This is where we're going. We change our world in many different ways, and we use technologies to do that. We literally shape the earth, or we create machines for us. This Tungi piece, unfortunately, had a little fire in the yard of MoMA a couple of decades ago. And we look at this innovation. How do we shape our world, and how do we interact with it? You can start seeing the technology coming in, even in the art. So what do? We change our world. It's a human thing. We look at life, we look at how we live, and of course we look at the end of life. We capture these things through image and through video, and I'm showing you these three, suppose the third is somewhat gruesome images of Bill Viola. They are video stills. And this man is incredibly important in terms of not only what do we think about, but how we do it. We can actually visually record our world now, like I'm doing, and I'm really indebted to the artist who created the last images. We have a camcorder. We can take something and record sound, record video. We can capture moments that we wouldn't have been able to preserve before. And while we may not know how long they last, they could be fleeting or lengthy, as you can do with the film showed previously. But we still nonetheless have access to this information. Our cameras get smaller and smaller, even though this one doesn't look it to be, And we can communicate with each other along long distances, across long distances, or even across language. Everyone's opinion counts now, right? Because we can all record it. We can all have a voice and we can say something. And the accessibility of these tools, that's what helps us. And of course, the YouTube. How do we disperse this information? What's our tool for doing that? As these first two things have developed, we've gone from a static recording that really just stays in its little cassette to something that's beamed across the world and something shared forever. How do we share it? Well, it depends.
From the makers of This Trailer Gives Away Too Much. In a world where billions of people consume jillions of videos, a select few had the courage to stand out. This is the incredible true story of how to customize your YouTube channel. They say the greatest journey begins with a single step, and this one begins by signing in and then clicking on your name to go to your channel. Hi. So what is a YouTube channel? A YouTube channel is a place where you can display and organize the videos you make and show off the ones you love. You can also use playlists to group videos together into thematic lists that others will be able to access. Now, in a world, one video will show you how to give your channel a title.
So everyone has a part in this, right? YouTube has made this accessible. You can share your information. You can view someone else's. We can do a whole lot more with it. And those are our tools that we can capture with.
So just go to...
Technology obviously changes, and we do a lot of different things with it. We can use the YouTube, right? It's a way of communicating. It's a way of sharing our information. But there are a lot of other ways that have developed even since then. Let's take a look at a few.
Well, today we're introducing 3 revolutionary products in this class. The first one is a widescreen iPod with touch controls. The second is a revolutionary mobile phone. And the third is a breakthrough internet communications device. So, 3 things. A widescreen iPod with touch controls, a revolutionary mobile phone, and a breakthrough internet communications device. An iPod, a phone, and an internet communicator. An iPod, a phone. Are you getting it? These are not 3 separate devices. This is one device. And we are calling it iPhone.
So Apple invents the iPhone. From the iPhone, we have an iPod, an iPad, an iPod, or an iPad, and many other things. These have come into our classrooms. We have tablet computers, and we have all sorts of technology. Again, all of this, as you saw, is about accessing the world and how do we connect. Well, let's just ask Google. This is an array of applications, kind of lifted from their homepage because I really wasn't even sure how to begin to show this, but it shows you the multitude of things that we now do in terms of communicating with one another on the internet. Sometimes we communicate with very few words, in very short sentences, very specifically, 140 characters or less. In our fast-paced world, everything's abbreviated. And again, let's take a look. So the purpose of Twitter is to share your, hopefully most important, but often every thoughts. And in terms of using this as an educational technology, we're mostly interested in communication. You'll notice I'm heading along a theme, right? We've gone from human potential to some human creation. And now we're looking at how humans innovate. We've gone from Bill Viola and his camcorder to webcams and YouTube. We've moved on from that iPhone that has an incredibly small keyboard, capable of, well, typing 140 characters or less, or more if you're a bit talented. We have many ways of interacting with the world, and of course we share information. Sharing a greater amount of information allows us to access many things, many viewpoints, and just in general, have an all-purpose reference. And finally, we want to bring this into our classrooms. Of course, this is where I'm headed. This is what our class was about in the end. And let's take a look at one of the more interesting ways that we can do this.
Welcome to Edmodo. Edmodo is a private social network for education, where teachers and students can share ideas, files, events, and assignments in a safe and secure learning environment. Alright, let's begin our tour. Edmodo is safe and simple to use. In a few short minutes you can register instantly, and then create a group with a security code for your students to sign in. You can manage multiple groups, change group passwords, view students, and archive the group when the term is over. In the post bubble at the top, teachers can post short messages and then communicate those messages directly to one member or multiple groups. Teachers can also copy or embed links to educational sites, post files, alerts, create and send assignments and polls. Get notifications via the Spotlight section on the right. Easy-to-use filters allow you to organize your message feed. For example, organize by assignments or links, quickly and easily. After sending your assignments, check the status of your students in the gradebook. View the entire class or each student individually. On the settings page, you can choose an avatar or upload your own image. Keep posted on your group's activities via text message or even Twitter. With the mobile version of Edmodo, stay connected with your students anytime, anywhere. Best of all, Edmodo is free. Start using it now and see what all the buzz is about.
So we've gone from limited information and unlimited human potential to, well, what is still probably unlimited human potential and a whole lot more information. We've made it accessible. We've made it condensed. We have opened up the world to our students, and now we're creating a safer place for them to do this, a place that we can teach them how to use this technology. So this is what we use. In a world where there's a whole lot of technology, there is always a little bit of a danger of an overload. But we have to be creative and maybe a little bit brilliant with a sense of humor. We have to be open-minded and take an opportunity to understand what's going on around us, no matter how odd it may seem. This is our world, and this is how we interact with it, or at least a part.